Welcome to Healing Step to Wellness with Dr. J,
and May,
your trusted guide to whole person health one step.
and one bite at a time. Happy Friday, and today is Black Friday. We hope that everybody has a very good Thanksgiving. We focus on the gratitude and family reunion time or a time, perfect time for resting before heading into the big holiday in December. Also, a lot of adjustment to cold weather. So, since today is a Black Friday, we have a lot of bonus for our listener about the um, very unique services and care offered by Dr. Lai and the team from Rochester Clinic. So, with this special episode, I am going to welcome and introduce Dr. J. Um, Dr. Jen Lai actually is the only board certified podiatrist in Minnesota so far, as far as I know. And he
Board certified in lifestyle medicine. Yes.
lifestyle medicine, yes. So he is kind of taking the forefront of a lot of advanced idea. Stay on top of what's going on with the medicine right now and put everything together, whatever is helpful for our patients' healing and also considering very conservative treatment that is the goal. So Dr. Lai actually, he has a very strong background. Probably a lot of people don't know about his his very rich background and his skill set. So Dr. Lai completed his fellow training at a Mayo Clinic in Rochester, and it's at a physical medicine and rehabilitation. It's also called PM&R department with a focus on wound care. He's a board certified wound care specialist, a podiatric physician focused on lower extremity health, and a leader in lifestyle medicine, both in clinical practice and community education. He combines decades of, we say that actually more than 23 years of the patient care with the expertise in biomechanics, regenerative technologies, and functional diagnostics. He's helped numerous patients with complex wounds, chronic pain, diabetic complication, foot and ankle disorders, and metabolic conditions, and he also brings together approaches that most clinic treat separately. Now, I'm here to welcome Dr. Jen E. Lai. Here you go.
Thank you. It's so great to be on my own show to be interviewed. It's fun. Yeah, thanks, May. So yeah, before I started my fellowship at Mayo Clinic, I did a podiatric orthopedic residency, and I also completed a biomechanics research fellowship. At the same time, I was working on my PhD in virology at Iowa State University. So I have a lot of background in not only in clinical but also biomechanics, but also in research. And that's the reason I accepted the NIH 3-year NIH research fellowship at the Mayo Clinic. So what I'm here to say is I'm very excited to share this different approach that because patients often struggle for months or years without answers, and this model can finally give them a roadmap to figure out what is going on and also how to resolve it, not just to mask the symptoms.
Well, that sounds like a lot of things to learn. So have your pen and pencil, a paper ready. Okay. So, can you tell us more about, kind of give us a 101 lesson probably. What is the lifestyle medicine? What is the generative medicine? Also, what is it called? Functional medicine and also biomechanic medicine. Yeah.
Okay. So this functional regenerative lifestyle medicine approach, what I have in mind is a lot of time people hear about different approach of functional medicine, lifestyle medicine, regenerative medicine. So what they are, no, and there's a reason why we have so many different approaches because everyone has different belief. But what I think is people sometimes you attach to one principle and you just focusing on that without thinking about actually what else can be beneficial to the
Mm,
patient.
mm,
And what my approach is, I want to take what is good in every principle and put them together
mm,
as in my toolbox for the patient. So
mm,
initially, let's talk about lifestyle medicine.
mm,
Lifestyle medicine, that's what I call is a foundation. It helps people form the habits. And you look at the basic 6 pillars of healthy lifestyle and look at your exercise, your nutrition, your stress management, your social networking, your sleep, and your passion. So all that together that we shape the person's wellness. And we want to look at the all aspect of this lifestyle to look at the root cause. And that's the lifestyle medicine. And that's the foundation what we do. And functional medicine, um, sometimes it gets a very bad reputation because
mm,
people tend to over test it. And whenever you have the result and you get a lot of supplements. But what the true value of this functional medicine is, they have a so-called function. So they look at the function, look at the system. So they have very systemic diagnostic mind. So when they test something, they don't just give you one test because you cannot have a full picture of that organ or that system or your body just by 1, 2 tests. You want to test everything that's all connected. Now, every system in our body is connected. We want to do a systemic testing. So that's what I call it diagnostic tool. As a functional medicine, it's a diagnostic tool. Regenerative medicine is what I call is the repair mechanism. Now,
mm,
when we look at something, when we know what's going on, we don't want to just give patient any medication to mask the symptoms. Yeah, it might be important to give them a medication to make sure the blood pressure is down, glucose down, or pain is reduced, so the patient can really go on their healing process to treat the root cause. But this regenerative medicine is really to help the body repair, regenerate the cells, the tissue, and that's how we can really get rid of the pain, get rid of the problem. And that's the
mm,
regenerative medicine. Biomechanics. Bio is the system, human biological system. Mechanics, we all know mechanics, things how things operate. And biomechanics is basically look at how the body works, especially musculoskeletal system, how the joints work, how the muscles work, how we walk, like that. And this is very important. So biomechanics but mechanical assessment is not necessary for every person or every condition I see. But it's very important in lower extremity because we walk every day. There's a lot of joints moving. And that's how I put down this lifestyle medicine, functional medicine, regenerative medicine together and with biomechanics. And that's what I do in this model.
mm, mm. Yeah. So, well, thank you very much for that clarification. And, um, while you are, while you are going to introduce how you incorporate all of this together, would you please also mention that how the principle you practice at at a Rochester Clinic set yourself apart from the other practice?
As I mentioned that we don't want to just stick to one thing, because we don't want to be mixing some important principles or tools or beliefs from other approaches. And so we have this lifestyle medicine as our core principle.
Mm.
Now, everyone, we want to look at that they can really form the habit. No, that's just not lifestyle medicine. We want to transform it into their life. Now, that's your habit. You do it every day because that's your life habits now. And that's how it's a principle we teach. But how do we find the problem? And as I mentioned, that we integrate taking the best diagnostic approach from functional medicine. No, it's not that we are doing functional medicine. I don't want to talk about your whole food plant-based diet, like that. It's different. And for regenerative medicine, now a lot of people currently providing the regenerative medicine. They use it as a treatment. You come in, I give you stem cell treatment, doing the injection, and that's it. But you can reduce the pain right away. What about the long term? It could recur. It could happen again. And so that is a very good modality, but want to make sure we really treat the root cause is number one. And secondly, we can really prevent it from happening again. And that is a difference what we do here and what I developed this model. Because we really want to make sure we treat the root cause. We have the right tool to find the right root cause, treat it, solve the problem, and prevent the recurrence.
Excellent. I like that. I like that approach. So now, with all this type of approach, what does it matter? What matters for the foot and ankle health? Would you please elaborate that?
That's a lot of things. I like to tell my patients, that the feet don't just come in by themselves. Uh,
Mm,
Hopefully not. They're attached to the whole person, whatever we do. No, for example, I like to tell my patient, when I give you an antibiotics, for example, something I have to do to the infection, it doesn't just go directly to your feet, no, to your foot or ankle. It should go through your whole system. You have to be going through your GI system, go to your blood, everything, traveling to the foot and ankle, and it should be eliminated or get out of the body either through the liver or kidney or anything like that. So the feet are very connected to the whole person.
mm,
And the same token is the problem can be caused by the human, the rest of the body too. The most common thing in foot and ankle, no, for example, is the weight. Or when we walk, about 50% of the time we have one foot on the ground only. And at that time, that means the whole body weight is over your foot, the surface of your foot. And remember the definition of pressure is a weight divided the surface. So the surface. So there's a small surface and to carry all the weight of the body. That's a lot of pressure. And so whenever you regain or you gain 1 pound of your weight, you put a lot of pressure on your foot and ankle. And so that's a very easy example on how the body affect your foot and ankle health. And so this approach, when we look at it, a lot of problem can be coming from foot and ankle, the whole body to your foot and ankle. And so, for example, someone has information, a lot of information. Pain is one form of information, and pain can contribute to more information in the body. But at the same time, information can contribute to more pain in the foot and ankle where you're already hurting. And so, like osteoarthritis, we used to say osteoarthritis is an old age arthritis versus inflammatory arthritis, like rheumatoid arthritis. We call it inflammatory. But now we know osteoarthritis is another form of inflammatory arthritis. It's not as obvious as a rheumatoid, but it is one form of inflammatory arthritis. And the inflammation can come from two different ways. One is local. Your joints is not in alignment. It's not working properly. So you have created some pressure in the local area, and the tissue breakdown, everything that causes inflammation. And study also show that when a person has increased inflammation in the body, and those inflammatory molecules will go to the ankle area and cause more inflammation, make it
Mm.
even worse, amplify the
Wow.
pain, the inflammation, the destruction you have in the area. So it is an inflammatory disease, and it can be amplified or worsened by your systemic condition. And that's why it's very important that we look at the root cause. No, and then after that, when we treat, we have regenerative medicine. Now we use a laser, use stem cells to go to the area to heal it. But we also want to look at the biomechanics to make sure we don't create the local pressure, excessive pressure in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And when we form the habit, when we want to reduce inflammation, everything like that, that's where the lifestyle medicine comes in. We look at different pillars because every pillar, just like anything else, could be anti-inflammatory or pro-inflammatory. Now, if you don't have a good sleep, you increase your inflammation. If you have good sleep, you reduce your inflammation. Those are every pillar that we go through. And that's why even though we're talking about lifestyle medicine, functional medicine, regenerative, or everything, it's still very crucial, very important for the foot and ankle issue.
Well, that is quite a insight about how all this can be applied to the foot and ankle health. One thing probably is not quite familiar with the public is about wound care. Can you share with us what kind of a wound that you have been treating and what is the evidence showing this kind of approach to help patients heal their chronic wound?
The wounds I see the most often are the diabetic ulcer, um, pressure ulcer, venous ulcer. Even though
Mm-mm,
arterial ulcer is a very common type, we don't usually see that as a isolated ulcer. Usually complicated with diabetes or like that. So that's the wounds I see. And when I see the wounds, I always go through or the list, my lifestyle medicine, or coming from the nutrition side. Now, when people initially, when there's a wound, we want to make sure they have enough protein. And that's where they stop right there, protein. Now they know, now you need some micronutrients, macro and micronutrients. So the macro, we have the carbohydrate, we have the protein, we have the fat, that's a macro. The rest are micronutrients that we have the vitamins, we have the zinc, copper, calcium, all those micronutrients. And we need all those to heal the wound. Now, for example, inflammation. Inflammation is one big reason the wound is not healing.
mm,
So we want to make sure we will have an anti-inflammatory diet. We want to have food that doesn't cause more inflammation. So that's one thing I look at it. And number two is the most common reasons, one of the most common reasons for non-healing wound is infection.
mm,
That means we want to boost up the immunity.
mm,
What do we boost up the immunity? Again, there's a micronutrients from the plants. There's a vitamin D. We want to make sure D and zinc, all that is optimized. And number three is as simple as we want to heal the wound. If we want to heal the wound, we need to have enough building blocks. And the building blocks are the very common thing that we hear all the time, collagen. Everything is collagen drink right now. But people sometimes don't understand that when we drink the collagen into our body, the collagen molecules don't just go to the wounds or your tendons to heal them or whatsoever. They still be degraded in our GI system. And the body needs to form the new collagen in our body. And there's a few things about forming the collagen in our body. Number one, it needs micronutrients. It's a Collagen, I say, is a very picky, particular molecule. It
mm,
takes 3 steps to form a mature collagen molecule. And the 3 steps, every step, there needs vitamin C, zinc, and copper for these 3 steps. So that means you want to make sure besides the protein, you have enough vitamin C, you have zinc and copper to complete this whole process. So we can always get those micronutrients from our food. For example, vitamin C, we know is fresh produced, traditionally orange, but we know that red bell pepper actually has more vitamin C. So that we want to make sure we have a vitamin C, zinc, copper coming from nuts and seeds, Virginia, pumpkin seeds, that has a lot of zinc and copper for us. And most importantly, people say, why can't I just take supplements? Of course, you can take supplements, but the thing is, you miss out the rest of the good things coming from the plant source. So like, for example, the other phytonutrients that can reduce inflammation and enhance the immunity. So fibers, your microbiome. So why you want your green vegetable and instead buying all those fibers? No, you don't need to. So the number one about the collagen is you need 3 micronutrients for synthesis. Number 2 thing about the collagen is the 3 steps. The first 2 steps happen when we are sleeping. And the third step happens when we are awake. That means even you eat everything else, or from the food, hopefully all from the food or from your supplements, you don't necessarily have the good collagen molecules if you don't have good sleep. You have to have good sleep. It's not only the quantity, how long is it, it's the quality during your deep sleep stage. Now we tell patients the body heals itself. Yes, body heals itself when we are sleeping. So you want to make sure you have good sleep, deep sleep, that. And so during our deep sleep stage, we have the pre-collagen ready. So when we are awake, the body can clip those, process those to make we so-called mature collagen fibers, and that's how heal the wound. So that's as simple as we talk about the nutrition already. We talk about sleep already. Stress. That's stress. Stress, people know is cortisol, and then the first thing to think about is hypertension. But cortisol is one form of steroid. People hear about the steroid. They hear the athletes will abuse steroid to build muscles. So there are 2 types of steroids. One will build muscles, and one would degrade muscles. So anabolic and catabolic, energy synthesis. That's the one that the athletes will use to build muscles. The catabolic break down the tissue. That cortisol is one type of catabolic steroid. So high cortisol in the body can actually break down soft tissue. And when you have a wound, you're trying to heal already. When you have very high cortisol that tend to break down tissue, it's a counter productive. So you want to make sure you reduce your cortisol, nothing else. And not to mention, cortisol will raise up your blood sugar level. So with diabetic wounds, we want to manage the diabetes. We don't want the cortisol to be high to check up the glucose too. So that and then the circulation, you don't have a good exercise. Exercise can help body improve the circulation and bring the blood with the nutrients, oxygen, everything to the area to fight the infection, to heal the wound. So that's why for the wound, for wound care, that's why I like to talk to the patient and about lifestyle medicine.
Wow, that's a lot. So what? So when you take this approach, you can normally how can you help a patient in? I mean, what is the shortest time frame that you have seen that patient able to heal their wound, chronic wound?
Well, that is something that is not easy to document because when we do a trial, it's a multivariant. Meaning it's a lot of variables right there. It's really hard to say, oh, this one is good for you, this one good for you. But all I can tell is I have patients when I'm treating the wounds, it's changing their lifestyle, how they sleep, the stress, and their diet. They feel better right away. The following week, I see them, they feel better. And nothing else, they have better bowel movement.
Oh, great information. Now, how about people with plantar fasciitis? It seems like um, a lot of the time people they suddenly have their foot pain. I know it is so painful, but is it's all the case. Is what is the symptom and is plantar fasciitis the only term that truly for that particular symptom and how the lifestyle can affect that group of the diagnosis?
Plantar fasciitis, by definition, is inflammation of the plantar fascia. Plantar fascia is a big band on the bottom of the foot, coming from heel, your calcaneus, go to all five toes. That's a very large piece of fascia right there. And when it's inflamed, we call it fasciitis. Itis, I-T-I-S, is inflammation,
Mm, mm,
plantar fasciitis. However, it sometimes is mistaken for other heel problems. We call it bursitis, no,
mm,
because the heel, there's usually a sac of fluid, bursa, to protect it as a shock absorption. And
mm,
sometimes if that one is inflamed, we call it bursitis. It's like
mm,
that. So it's not always it's a fascia issue. So number one is really to look at what it is, proper diagnosis before we can look at the root cause. And this is the time that biomechanics comes in handy. Um, when people have a plantar fasciitis pain or arthritis, a lot of time it's one side,
mm,
or one side is worse,
mm,
or one side started out and then both are painful.
mm,
And when I ask them, or a lot of times they say, "Oh, my doctor say it's the age," and I like
mm.
to ask them, "You have the right heel pain, and how old is your left heel? Are they the same age? Your left heel is younger, so it's not painful yet." No. So it's not the age. Age is a factor. No, you also maybe you realize when we invest, no, we have keep the money in there. They always tell you that the most important factor in investment is time. Now you can bring up a little more. It's the same thing with any foot and ankle issue. Now, you may have discomfort a tiny discomfort from your mechanical issue, but you didn't realize it, or you don't really pay attention to it over time to the point it's just like the straw that break the camel's back. Even a tiny thing just set it off. And people a lot of times say, I don't know what's going on. I just walking, or I don't just walking over the weekend and suddenly it just hurt like
Mm,
the hell. Very
mhm, mm,
painful. Yeah, it's
mhm,
just like that because you build up that the issue right there over time. So
mm,
time is the factor there. It's not the
mm,
cause.
mm,
So
mm,
that's very important. So when we look at plantar fasciitis, number one thing is I really look at the location
mm,
where it is painful
mm,
to make sure it's a plantar fasciitis or it's a bursitis, or sometimes it's just soft tissue injury.
mm,
The way patient walk, it just not the right biomechanics, not right gait pattern. It's just hitting the area over and over again to the point the body just like, oh, it's too much, and it started to have pain. So that is the first step to make sure we have the right diagnosis. Number two, look at why. And when we look at why, I start from the structure of the lower extremity. And after we look at the structure of lower extremity, I'll look at the gait. I'll look at how they walk. Most of the time, I have them walk in the hallway. We don't need a machine or anything. Just look at the hallway to look at the motion of the foot ankle, the legs, like that. And they can figure out why the problem is, where the problem is. Yes, and then we go to um, the treatment, and that's how I go into the lifestyle medicine, functional medicine, one step at a time. We start from the lifestyle medicine because, as I mentioned earlier, weight is a major factor in
mm,
foot and ankle pain.
mhm,
So um, I can just look at them and go from there, and then look at their nutrition from
mm,
anti-inflammatory diet, avoid pro-inflammatory food, and then go into the collagen
mm,
repair diet. So go over there. That's number one in nutrition. And then look at the exercise. A lot of time, their muscle just way too tight. Even sometimes some people say, I go to gym regularly. Yes, you do the gym, you do the exercise, but you don't do the stretching. So the muscles are getting tighter and tighter. Now, when the muscles are tight, it affects how the joints work. And that will affect how people walk and where we have the pressure when we are walking. So that, and of course, sleep, we'll talk about that. Stress, we'll talk about that. And passion is a big thing. We don't really talk about is sometimes I hear my colleagues, some other doctors, or some people say, I give my patient the best treatment, the best options. Why don't they do it? They have no motivation. They don't know why they need to do it. Some very puzzling to hear, but yes, sometimes people just like, why should I do it? Why should I care? I have pain, I have this issue, but why do I care? Now, when you find their passion, something that they feel excited, they feel like there's a purpose, the purpose in life, their sense of purpose, and that's how you motivate them. But the motivation, this type of passion, could be very grand. That someone once told me that he was walking 2 weeks. He planned to walk 2 weeks in Europe with his family. And most commonly, people say, I want to run with my grandkids. I want to play with my grandkids without pain. But then I have one patient. His newfound passion was buying the return stuff from Amazon, one crate at a time. And then he would sort them out, resell them. And that was his new passion. He was so excited about, and that's why he came in to look at his foot and ankle. So everyone is different. You just need to find your passion. And social networking is very important. You wanna stay with the right crowd, right pack of people you wanna work with. If you stay with people all they like is just drinking, you tend to drink more. Then you have people, you walk with people who like to walk in the park, you will walk more. So people give you support, but at the same time, you want to make sure it's the right support you receive. That is lifestyle medicine for the plantar fasciitis type I will usually do.
So, okay, so we assume that we all understand patient agree with the lifestyle medicine principle. They are so important. However, if I had the plantar fasciitis situation happen just right in a pandemic year, boom, because I had suddenly had so much time I could spend at a kitchen. I was cooking all day long. Not kidding. I stood in the kitchen from the morning until night, okay? And I suddenly developed the plantar fasciitis. It's so painful, awful. But now, what is new in your toolbox that you can help patient to stop the pain, work out with the comfort? I think that's so important. I was hoping that, gosh, I know that it requires some time to heal, but can anybody help me stop the pain?
Yes. So number one, be compliant. We don't want to go there.
Like
And
how to, in what? Stretch?
listen to your doctor. Okay. Then uh, class 4 laser is a very useful tool. Now the laser, they have different classes based on how powerful they are. So class 4 is the most powerful type of laser. And the laser, people thought, oh, laser give out the heat. It's same just give you a deeper heat. No, it's not. Besides giving out the heat, the laser energy will hit into the cellular level, especially to the mitochondria, help the cell produce more ATP, more energy, and that's how that help the tissue regenerate, regrow. So that's why it's classified as a regenerative modality. So it can start the pain right away. I had a patient Wednesday, coming in with pain over weekend, couldn't even bear weight. After class 4, laser treatment, 10 minutes, he walk out without pain. So let's stop the pain right there. It doesn't mean that we resolve the issue already, but we stop the pain right on spot and initiate the healing process. No, that's class 4. And we also have stem cells. Stem cell and PRP, they're a little bit different. Now, PRP is a platelet-rich plasma. So when you have a wound, all the wound healing process starts with platelets. The platelets are the one that form the clot on your wound. That is the platelets. That set off all the wound healing process. So research has found the way to isolate those platelets in your blood from the blood draw and centrifuge and draw it out and inject to the area of injury, then your body heal. That can do in the joints. You can do the cosmetics or the so-called the vampire PRP. That's do the facial thing. So that will help body heal. One big difference is because, as I mentioned, the platelets will induce wound healing process. And the first step of wound healing process is bring up a lot of information. And pain is one form of information. So when we do the PRP, the first up to 3 days, you may experience increased pain. So yes, PRP will work to heal the plantar fasciitis, but it might make it more painful in the first 3 days. So if the situation like you, that it has been very painful already, will be there, even though you heal 3 days later, but maybe I'll be sleeping in the couch for the first 3 days.
Yeah, I think I can feel how patient came in with the pain when they described the plantar fasciitis. I had a really I feel sorry for them because I experienced that. And the most important thing for me at a point was how can we get this calm down, the pain can reduce so we can function because the pain really drive the brain to nuts. So yeah.
So what the toolbox I have in the office right now is the stem cells. The stem cells come from placenta, umbilical cord after a normal healthy delivery. So that isolate the stem cells. When we inject stem cell to the area, it does not increase pain. Actually, it will calm it down. So it works much better than PRP in terms of concentration to begin with, but at the same time, it actually can reduce pain.
Wow. Wow, that's a
That is
good
one
news.
thing.
Yeah.
And for people, they say, oh, how about I have a plantar fasciitis and right, I have another pain in the lap or whatsoever. We also have something called peptide. Now, peptides are shorter amino acids like protein type of small sequence, and they simulate some action like growth factors in our body that can enhance, stimulate the growth and repair inside the body. So that's another option we could use.
So I know that we have talked about a lot of things right here, and there's so many things new for everybody to absorb. We know that we will explain more in greater detail in the future episodes. But right now, would you be able to help me understand if we take this approach that it's very likely we don't need to take the medication. Instead, we can use this alternative way to help resolve the issues.
Yes, the goal is really not to use a lot of medication. Now, medication a lot of time is a synthetic chemicals going to our body, and a lot of time they don't just resolve your problem. it creates side effects.
Yeah.
To the point, you might need another medication to take care of the side effects,
Mm-hmm.
assuming
Mm-hmm.
the second medication doesn't create another side effect.
Right,
So,
right.
so that's something that we don't really want to do.
Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, we do that if the problem is so severe,
Mm,
so dangerous, we have to get it under control.
mm,
I'm all for it. It's not that I
mm,
absolutely don't touch
mm,
medication.
mm,
I should do that, especially when there's an infection like that. I should do
mm,
that. Um,
mm,
but the goal is really to calm down the situation, and we look at the build the root cause to treat it as a natural way with your food, with your exercise, your sleep, or all of that to help the body heal. No, we are
mm,
not forcing the body or do anything to the body. We'll just help the body heal
mm,
at the root cause. And then
mm,
most important thing is we want to prevent it from happening again.
mm,
No, I love to see my patients. No, I only get paid when they see me, but it's not the mission of being in healthcare.
mm,
When I was doing my fellowship, I was told during one of the classes that our job was to eliminate our own job.
mm,
No, we have to heal patients. That is the real
mm,
ultimate job like
mm.
that.
And a lot of people, they don't know how important their foot and ankles until they have the problem, and that caused their inconvenience in their life. They couldn't walk and even couldn't
Mhm.
function very simple daily life, daily living
Yes.
activities. Now I'm going to kind of ask this a question, but that will lead to the future of more discussion. How this also affect athletes?
Yes.
All
Athletes has a
this,
lot of lower extremity um, issues that we can talk about besides the athlete's foot, right?
yes.
Well, there's a lot of issues because they have that when they move, they put a lot of weight on one leg only, one side only. So not only they have a lot of pressure on one side, alternating side, even alternating side, but also because of the movement. When they run, when they jump, they could have 3 times, 7 times all the body weight on their foot and their joints, ankle, foot, um, knee joints, like that. So it's very important that we want to make sure and that biomechanics is very well aligned, and then we can look at their functional medicine side, whether they have some underlying issue, for example, their microbiome, their hormones, all of that, and also foundation. Look at their foundation. They have
Mhm,
how they are eating, and also their sleep. All of that, their
mhm,
stress. Of course, they have higher stress. So all of that, we want to make sure we understand that. And when they have injury, the best way, the safest way to get them back to field is
mhm,
regenerative medicine. Now
mhm,
we don't just mask the symptoms for them to go out there and doing more damages to the injured area. So we
mhm.
really want to use some regenerative medicine modalities, help them regrow, get it stronger, and then go out to play.
Wonderful. So the best advice for all people who have the foot problem, should they wait or should they come to seek out help immediately?
Um, Good question. You can pay me less or you can pay me more.
Pay
That's
less
the choice.
when they come sooner.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
love to start the pain at the beginning, even though you
Mm.
pay less.
It's kind of much easier to treat and then to body to recover soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As I mentioned, the mission in healthcare is not revenue is important. Now everyone has to make a living, but it's how we
Mhm.
make it ethically, doing it the right way. Yeah.
Mhm. So while we are wrapping up our episode today, we have a lot of information already. What is the best takeaway message that you want to give it to our listeners?
Well, don't wait when you have an issue. Don't wait. Talk to your providers and make sure that they are using a treating the root cause approach,
Mhm.
not just giving you medication to mask the symptoms. If
Mhm.
any doubt, have a second opinion.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, we also invite our listeners to, uh, send in any topics that interest you. We can consider to line up for the future episodes.
Yeah.
Is that okay? So, Dr. Lai, what is the best way to reach out to you or your team if they need to pursue the care?
Well, the best way is go to our website, rochesterclinic.com. There's a form, or email us health, HEALT, rochester.com, or give us a call, 507-218-3095.
Excellent. All right. So thank you for joining us for this wonderful episode on Healing Step to Wellness.
I'm Dr. J,
And I'm May. One
guiding you
step
toward whole person health, one step.
and one bite at a time.
See you
All
next
right. We'll
time.
see you next time.